Okay, you are now live, so let's do it.
You're doing a countdown? What happened, Steph?
And we're live. We're back. This is Steph, and here's the G-Man. So,
The G-Man.
Allan, welcome to the show, co-host.
Thank you, sir. Gentlemen, man, whatever you want to call yourself.
Well, it's fitting now that we talk about the big thing everybody's been clamoring to hear about, the stimulus package, and I want to get right into that, Allan. We're going to talk about that. I just want to get your views. So I'm going to banter back with you. We'll go back and forth. We got comedy tonight. We got opening up the mind, stories. We got it all. So, yep. But this is hot. This is hotter than a New York pistol, I guess, here. This info can be found.
I want to know how hot a New York pistol is.
It depends on time of night, time of the day.
Gotcha. I think Chicago pistols are hotter.
Okay.
There's more killings in Chicago, but we'll go there. We won't go there.
Oh yeah.
We just did, I think. But,
yeah, we shot that one down. Anyway, here we go. This is interesting. Later on, I'll put a link on the live stream for this, so that way people can get it. I think people need to know, and we're going to share the bill, the HR 748 bill from the 116th Congress, and I like to share with you where 96% of your tax dollars went. Allan, 96%. You didn't hear this story from the president, right?
No.
All right. Okay. So basically, this bill is the greatest heist in the story of the world being told tonight.
How much money was given to foreign countries?
We're going to go into all of that, and so I'll give you an example. We're going to. We're going to do this 101. We're going to do the basics here. The American population, if you believe the census, is about 330 million people, and the stimulus package bill is for the amount of $2 trillion, Allan.
Correct.
If you divide the cost of the people versus the $2 trillion, every American citizen would get a check for $6,000 and change.
Yeah, well, we ain't getting $6,000.
Right. But instead, they're talking about the possibility of getting $1,400
Yeah.
to each adult
where,
under a
where,
certain income.
where's the other 4,600 going per person?
That's a good question.
And nobody's asking that question.
Well, we're gonna ask some questions tonight. I'm gonna give you the breakdown, which may give some of the listening audience a nervous breakdown. 300 million is going to migrant and refugee assistance programs. So that's a lot of money for a catch and release program, right?
Correct. Are they ever going to see it?
Does make you wonder, right?
Yeah, whose pockets are going in?
Here's another one for you. $10,000 per person for student loan bailout.
Can I sue them for the 2 years of college I went that I paid for myself?
Yeah, we got to put that on the list of addendums, to make changes here. I got another one for you. $100 million to NASA. Why? Who knows?
Because they can.
Here's a good one for you. This is going to make you think. $20 billion to the United States Postal Service. Because? Why the hell not?
Because they're going bankrupt. That's why, because they don't know how to run it.
So you think about the $20 billion that they're getting, maybe that part of that is, a reward for the election fraud.
Well, my dad knew the guy who started UPS, and he said the U.S. Postal Service put him in business.
That's how good of a job they did, huh?
Yep. And of course, he's a multimillionaire now, of course. Billionaire, maybe.
Smart guy.
Well, UPS has profited and the U.S. Post Office has not profited. So obviously somebody's doing something right and somebody's doing something wrong.
I agree with you. Here we go. $1 billion are given to the airline recycle and save program.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. So if you own a small business, are they going to bail you out? I don't think so.
No.
Well, they did this with the car dealers too. When things were tough, they bailed them out too. So what the hell? We got money to listen. We just keep printing money, keep putting us farther in debt, and eventually we're going to run out of money. Our money will be worth the dollar will be worth about a nickel. So that's what they're heading for.
Here's a good one for you. Couple this with the airline billion, $25 million to the FAA for administrative costs. So they already gave him $1 billion. Now they want to give him $25 million on top of that.
For what administrative costs? For doing what? The cost of doing business?
I got some interesting stuff as we go forward here. 400. Now we met on the Amtrak, right? So right. We have a good experience with taking the Amtrak. But listen to how Amtrak was rewarded. $492 million were given to the National Railroad Passenger Corporation, which is Amtrak. And They also were given, coupled with that, to dovetail with that, $526 million in grants directly to Amtrak. So that's almost $1 billion that they got right there.
Well, I hope they upgrade the cars and the food on a long distance train ride, because the food we had was terrible, goddamn it, and the seats were terrible. So
yeah, they got to do something with that money now. There's no reason why we can't be styling and profiling in one of their cabs.
Well, let's see if they upgrade their trains, which I don't think is going to happen, but that's besides the point. And make them safer, by the way, too. But I don't think that's going to happen either.
Yeah, I'll go for the safer. Yeah.
$926 million they got from the government. Let's see what they do with it or where it's going. I'm sure it's going to go. A lot of it's going to go in somebody's pocket. I guarantee it.
Yeah. Now here's another one for you. $300 million was given to the Endowment for the Arts. That's a lot of money for the arts.
Yeah.
Another $300 million for the Endowment for the Humanities. $15 million was given to the Veterans Employment Training when the GI Bill is already giving people training.
Are they actually training? But are they actually spending that money to train people?
Yeah, that's a good point as well.
You know,
Here's one you'll like here.
yeah,
300 million to the public broadcasting NPR network, which is now pretty much bought by the Democrats.
correct. So the Democrats basically gave themselves $300 million.
Yes. Here's another nice one for you. 500 million to museums and libraries. Hello, they're not even open, you know?
And why are we giving them $500 million for what?
To keep them closed.
Keep them closed, or are they going to redo? They're going to put new paintings on the wall? What?
Exactly. And who the hell knows where they're going to, what they're going to use the money for? I mean, you have no idea.
And new books.
Right. Well, less books because they want to digitize the books, so they
Right,
won't even need any books.
Right. So they really don't need that kind of money, do they? I don't think.
No, I really don't. Here you go. Here's a good one for you. 435 million for mental health support.
And what the hell does that mean?
Yeah, exactly. 30 billion for Department of Education Stabilization Fund. So the foundation isn't set there, so they got to stabilize them with 30 billion.
I thought they had stabilizers on the car, not on education. But we won't go there.
Here we go. 200 million to Safe Schools Emergency Response to Violence Program. Is there that much violence in schools?
Well, most schools now have metal detectors, and a few have police officers in them. And a few in Jersey actually have barbed wire fences around them because I saw them. So I don't mean to pick on some schools, but there's a school that I know of that's got barbed wire all around it, about 8 feet, 10 feet high, maybe 12 feet high. So maybe they're going to put new barbed wire around it now. Electrify it, maybe. Maybe they're going to electrify it.
Yeah. State of Confusion, Part 2, New York, New Jersey. Here's one for you. This I don't understand. $13 million was given to Howard University. Why?
I have no idea.
Here's a good one for you. 9 million miscellaneous dollars are given to the Senate for expenses.
They don't do anything anyway. What the hell they need expenses for?
There you go. And here's another nice one.
They gave money to themselves, basically.
Yeah, that's what they paid themselves. Here's a good one here. $100 million are given to the essential air carriers. So all the major carriers that go back and across the country, they're rewarded with $100 million.
And what were they given? They were given more money in the beginning when you first said something about the airline. So they got more money on top of that.
Right. Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. 40 billion to take responsibility to Workers and Families Act. What the
hell does that mean? Yeah, what does that mean?
Okay, you know what it sounds like?
Let's circle jerk back to that.
It sounds like a direct payment for the workers, but it's not. Yeah.
And of course not. No.
It's just said. Okay, here we go.
It's pure bullshit, which is what the name of the show is.
That's why we gotta roll with this here. Now there's a good one for the seniors out there.
And I'm a senior.
Yeah, here you go. So am I. $720 million to Social Security Administration. But here's the kicker. Out of the $720 million, only $200 million is to help the people, and the rest is for administrative costs.
The administration gets $500,000, and the people who are on Social Security get about $200,000. That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Take care of the people. Take care of yourself, and then don't worry about the people. Basically.
This one you're gonna like here, man. $25 billion, right, for transit infrastructure, and this can be found on page 169. I could have quoted some of the pages, but here it is: $25 billion for transit infrastructure. How long do you think it's going to take to get New Jersey's potholes, repaired and all the other stuff? Let alone
30 years. About 30 years.
But they got $25 billion to do.
And there's only about 6 guys that do it, and they're all related, actually. They get all the big contracts. And I won't mention any names because I know some of them.
Okay.
And I might get bumped off.
Yeah, you know what? They might use some of the next one. $3 million for maritime administration. So yours would be maritime maintenance. They would have made you walk off the Jersey shore.
Off the plank. Walk off the plank.
Yeah.
Take a long walk on a short pier.
That's right. We got a lot of piers here in Jersey.
Yeah, some are
Pick
longer
one.
than others.
Pick one. Pick one. Okay.
A
Yeah,
few of them got wiped out in Storm Sandy, but they rebuilt them. So
that's a good thing that they rebuilt them.
some of
Here's
them
one.
took them about
Here's
12 years though.
That's a long time. But now that they got the money from this stimulus package,
They'll rebuild them again.
sure.
We,
Here we
they're
go.
not strong enough. Let's rebuild it again. Now that we got extra money, let's redo them again, just for the hell of it.
All right, here's one here for you. This will make you go, $5 million for salaries and expenses for the office of the Inspector General.
What the hell does he need $5 million for?
Well, it's on page 172. But yeah, that's what I wonder.
What's his salary? About $500,000 a year? But he needs more money.
Needs more money. Here you go. And this is a sad point right here. $2.5 million for public and Indian housing. And this can be found on page 175. These people who founded this country, the American Indian.
Oh, gotcha.
$2.5 million for Indian housing.
And what, don't they own all the casinos pretty much?
That's what you're led to believe.
Yeah, and they're getting all the money from the casinos, supposedly?
No, they're not. No. If I was doing a conspiracy show tonight, I would tell you what's happening. Anyway,
I think they should bring back the buffalo.
The buffalo, yeah.
The buffalo. Yeah.
Well, you know why they killed all the buffalo? To starve the Native Americans. To starve them.
To use them for Angus steaks.
Well, maybe later on, but they made sure they killed their food source and their clothing supply because that's what they used.
That's what they used, right? Yeah, hides and stuff, yeah. Yep.
So moving forward here, $315 million for State Department diplomatic programs.
What are you doing? The state's going overseas or what?
Yeah, it's like I'm watching a movie, a Lethal Weapon movie, you know, with the illegal Krugerrands here going back and forth.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's one for you. $95 million for the Agency of International Development.
We don't develop international relations or what? We got to spend $95 million more?
Right. Here you go. $300 million for international disaster assistance. What happened to America?
Why do we care about what happens in another country for? Let's take care of America first. Well, you know, I called Mr. Biden backwards Biden a puppet on a string. So he's just, you know, he can't. I'm surprised he actually banned Dr. Seuss because that's the only books he comprehended. Matter of fact, Dr. Seuss came out with a new book. There's a puppet in the White House.
There's so many rumors going on about what's going on right now with the White House, and we'll save that for another show. $90 million for the Peace Corps.
We're at war right now? So we need a Peace Corps? No offense, but
maybe a peace pipe.
Tell me what the Peace Corps is doing right now. Well, they could have a peace pipe because now it's legal marijuana in New Jersey. So,
well, that's right. Yeah. Well, the government's got to get their hand in everything. So,
of course.
This is one that will make you laugh. Everybody's going to laugh at this one. $25 million for cleaning supplies for the Capitol building. I kid you not. Page 136.
It's that big, huh? I know a janitorial service will do it for about $200 a week. They got, I mean, $95 billion?
$25 million for cleaning supplies. I mean, what is this?
Cleaning supplies.
Industrial strength?
I tell you what, I like to know who they're using because, man, that guy's making a lot of money.
Yeah. Here's one here. $7.5 million to the Smithsonian Institute for additional salaries.
Are they hiring me?
Yeah, just dig up a fossil, you know, like you know.
I think Biden's a fossil. He needs to be put in the Smithsonian. He's ancient.
Yeah, we're going to talk about him in a minute here. Yeah, 35.
Not much to talk about. Not much to talk about.
He probably didn't say too much either. Here we go.
No, he didn't say a whole lot.
$35 million to the JFK Center for the Performing Arts. You know, it's amazing. They killed the son of a gun in a triangular crossfire, and then they want to honor him with this JFK Center for the Performing Arts.
Yeah.
This is sad, you know. Here's one for you. $25 million for additional salary for the House of Representatives. So here it is. There's 435 House of Representatives. And if you divide it by the money doled out, the $25 million, it's a total of $57,000 for each, you know, congressman there.
On top of their salary.
On top of their salaries. Are you kidding me?
So some of them are going to buy new Teslas now. Tesla's worth going to go up another 30 million.
Here's one for you. $3 billion to upgrade the IT department at the Veterans Administration.
Why wasn't it upgraded before this?
It makes you wonder. I mean, really, wouldn't you think the Veterans Administration would need more concerning the patients and their care and their equipment and all the things that they need?
Well, that's because they really don't care about the veterans. They could care less. You know.
I agree. $5 million community planning and development. What does that mean?
We can't plan. We can't plan without the $5 million.
Well, if you work, you plan your work, and you get to $5 million, then you plan not to fail.
Yeah, it might take 25 years to do the plan, though.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you can get an extended warranty on it. Here we go. 2.5. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, and all the other things from the past that you didn't pay that you just can walk away from. It's get that grace period, and you can even give them your old ex-girlfriend named Grace as a trade in there. Here we go.
I didn't have anybody named Grace, actually.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
I worked with somebody named Grace years ago. But
I'm not going to go there tonight because this is the past is the past. Here we go.
And the future's the future.
And the future's the future. $2.5 million for Office of Housing.
Wait, there is an Office of Housing or what?
Yeah.
What's his title? What's his name?
So this is amazing. So now my question is, I've shared all this with you about the bill, the 748 bill that was just passed. What does any of this, all of this,
have to do with
COVID-19 virus?
Nothing.
Okay. This bill is one of the greatest heists in the history of our country.
We need Bonnie and Clyde back.
Exactly. Well, we need, Willie Sutton to go back and steal the money out of the bank because Willie said, well, why did they rob banks? Because that's where the money is. So we got to get Willie to get our money back.
We need Al Capone back.
So I'm sure Biden didn't talk about any of these issues that I just covered.
Of course not. Nothing about that. No. Just how he's getting the vaccine out and how everybody's getting $1,400. And, like my father told me, we had to move and how I feel bad for people and all the people that passed away. We know all this stuff. And we know about Joey. When you were younger, your father had to get a job out of town because, his job shut down. We heard that story, Joey. I got to think I start a book, The Story of Joey.
Well, this is so sad, Alan, what we just chatted about. But you know what? This is the reality of what's just happened. But if you're not paying attention, you snooze, you lose on this one because there's a lot going on that people got to fess up for. You can't get away with murder, and you surely can't get away with the levity, the amount of theft in this bill. Just boggles your imagination,
so
about
this. He didn't talk about the theft in the bill. He didn't talk about the immigrants coming in through the borders. He promised people are going to get shots. Listen, I am 1B. I can't get a freaking shot. The shots, by the time they hit Jersey, the appointments are already jammed up. You can't even get in. And I'm not going to sit on a computer all freaking day. I'm on like 6 sites that I've been registered with, including the state of New Jersey and the government one. And so far, I can't get a shot, and I'm 1B. So, whatever. I don't believe half the things this guy's saying. I don't think he knows what he's saying. And in my opinion, Pelosi is running this country, not him. So that's just my
Well,
opinion.
there's a lot of people that think that they got two White Houses. They got a studio at Castle Rock there in Culver City where they have a fake set for the White House filming some of these shenanigans. So there's some stuff that's out there that is far-fetched. Sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction. I don't know. Well, I'm sitting here doing comedy and enjoying myself tonight. Stories, we got stories. We got stories. We got stories. Allan, let's flip the switch here.
Okay.
Joke
get
man.
Comedy. Funny man. Yeah,
let's
get funny. We were serious for a while. Now we're gonna have some comedy.
Well, before we do, let's get over there. We were going to talk about the Wizard of Oz and some characters in Wizard of Oz and who they remind you of.
Okay. Yep. We know who that is.
All right. So if I said the Cowardly Lion, who would come to mind? Political.
No, it could be Chuck the Schmuck. Could be Andrew Cuomo. Could be any of the the major people in the news right now.
And what about the Tin Man?
Tin Man. That could be. That could be Chuck the Schmuck. That could be Phil Murphy. Who knows?
That's Joe Biden. The Tin Man.
Joe Biden might be the straw man. He doesn't have a brain.
And what about who would Dorothy be?
Dorothy, that's an interesting question. I don't know. Could be Fancy Nancy. I don't know. She's not in Kansas anymore. That's for damn sure.
Well, the press secretary.
That could be AOC. She's brain dead too.
Yeah, but that could be like Donald Trump's old press secretary.
Yeah.
Kelly.
Right. She was a smart lady. She was a very smart lady.
Yeah, I liked that. She was pretty cool.
She didn't say, "We're going to circle jerk back to that all the time." She faced questions head on.
That she did. Yeah. I look at all the trouble now that's going on, like New York with the governor now. He's got himself into with these women. So I'm looking at it and his response. One of the things is the people elected me, and I'm not going to step down. Well, you make a lot of money. You've been there like since 14 years. I mean, I never, in the old days when they first set up, the governments, they wanted people to do one term and leave and go back to private society, whereas these guys want to be lifers. And
I asked one question. Nobody, with all these accusations are coming out about Cuomo. He lived with Sandra Dee, the chef, for 14 years. She fled and went to California. Nobody has asked her why she left. Nobody.
I think I can figure out why she left.
Yeah, she probably knew he was playing around and didn't want to deal with it. Well, she claims when she left, she claimed that she didn't want to be in the political eye, but she was with him for 14 years. She knew he had a political career. So I believe that something else was going on, but nobody's going to California to ask her. Why not?
Well, after we talked about this, I said, I had this book I was reading about Chinese horoscopes. I said, let me pull up Andrew Cuomo's month, year, and day, the month that he's born, and see what it comes up in the Chinese astrology. What animal? So he came up as a
pussycat,
a rooster, right? Now, I laugh because a rooster is up, the first one up in the morning, right? And he's out there saying, my cock will do, my cock will do. And he, as a rooster, is using his beak, and he's trying to peck around at all these women. So being the macho, big rooster, he got himself in trouble because his machismo, ran out of luck for him. And I cracked up. I said, man, and I look at him, I said, yeah, he does remind me of a rooster, and he's probably up in the morning plotting where's he going to find his next victim. I mean, girlfriend.
Right. Very possible.
But that's a good thing to find out why she left him. And another. And
she went across the country. She didn't go to Chicago or Atlanta or Florida. She went to California, as far away as possible. So why?
I think I have an idea. This is probably a conspiracy twist on this, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. Why not? But What if she knew ahead of time that he was going to get everybody on lockdown with this pandemic, whatever, and make everybody a prisoner in New York? And she didn't want to be a part of that. So she decided she was going to get away from him when she
Or
got wind of.
maybe she found out about his indiscretions and said, "Hey, you know what? I had enough of this crap. I put up over 14 years. Now it's time to move on."
Well, I think it might have been that nipple ring that he's got. Maybe she saw that. Oh, wait a minute. He doesn't wear that with me.
Well,
You
maybe she
know.
got her hair caught in it one night. Said, "I
Eh,
can't pull some hair out." And said, "Oh, that's enough of this."
you never know. Yeah.
You never know. We don't have nothing from Fredo Cuomo either lately, have we?
Oh, you mean the brother?
Mr. Chris the Whack Job Cuomo. Yeah.
I got to tell you, I was looking up his information too. I said while I was at it, I found out that he's born on August 9th of 1970. He's like 17 years younger than his older brother, the Rooster, but he's astrologically on the regular stars, a Leo, the lion, and
Right.
in the Chinese horoscope, he's the dog.
Right.
So when I look at this all, it gives me a kind of makeup as to what these two guys are like. And neither one are playing with a full deck. They're probably playing with just a box, I would imagine. But it gives me a good idea why Chris would want to lead. He wants to be out in the lead role. And ego is a very big part of this, I think. I think he couldn't leave his ego at the door if he wanted to. It has to come with him.
I don't think either one of them can fit through the door, period. So it don't matter. Their egos are too big, you know. They get
Yeah.
stuck trying to go through the door hole, the door.
Well, everything will come out in the wash, but the thing is the broadcasting that we see today, and I have to say this: Donald Trump was spot on right when he talked about fake news and what you're being told and what you're getting, and he did his best to bring the economy back, and he did bring it back.
Yep.
He did bring it back, and a lot of people could not believe just how efficiently things were running. So they had to shut him down any which way they could. And they did.
He was not a politician. He was stopping them from putting money in their pocket. I don't agree with everything he said or did, but he did everything tried to do everything for the American people. He was a businessman. He didn't need our money. He didn't have to take bribes. He didn't have to take any lobbyist money. And that's why they shut him down, because he stopped them from taking money, and they didn't want somebody, an outsider, in their circle, So
Yeah, he did a very masterful thing when he and his team figured out how to win the Electoral College vote in that 216 election.
right,
And because they figured an end around to do it,
right,
which they didn't think possible, but he pulled it out, and he did it in a very masterful way, as I said. And he was a general. He just outmaneuvered the Democratic
right,
Party, and that's
right.
another thing why the FBI went after him as well, because they're the watchdogs, and they had to find something. Well, after 3-4 years, they didn't find anything either. Everything they said about him, racist, this, that, the other, all
Right.
unproven, and
Right.
they just couldn't deal with the fact that an outsider, was running the house, running the show.
Right.
And
Yep.
now, who knows what you got? Probably a puppet.
Well, we know what we got. We got a puppet in the White House. That's Dr. Seuss's new book.
Jim Carrey in a mask.
Forget the mask. Forget Jim Carrey. That's just a mask. Period.
I don't know. The world is really turning upside down. It's making me mashugana, my friend.
Not hard to do.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It doesn't take me much to go over the edge there.
Right.
So what you got, Alan? What you got for me?
Well, first we got some stories about Lyft and about my dating stories. But before we do that, we have to have a disclaimer that says we're going to change the names to protect the guilty in these stories.
Okay, so some of the stories and names we're discussing tonight have been changed to protect the guilty.
Right.
All right. So now
Well,
we
I won't.
clarified that.
We won't. I really won't mention any names. I'll just say initials and where they live. So we don't want to get anybody in trouble. Yeah.
Should I duck now?
I don't know. So one of the stories is, and this is a dating story, and I've been on online and offline dating for off and on about 12 years maybe. And I go on and I go off, and it just so happens I met somebody very nice lately, and she's a really sweet lady, and so far everything's good. But anyway, I got some horror stories, and if you can believe these are true because I wrote them down, and I'm not making this up. So these are true stories. One in particular that I can never forget is that I meet this lady online. We meet in the Fridays because these women want to meet somewhere where there's a crowd, where they're in public in case something happens. They can scream rape. I don't know what the hell they're going to do. Anyway, but anyway, so I meet this lady and we're talking all night and everything's good. And she likes me. I like her. She lives nearby. She says, text me when you get home. So on the way home, I would live about a half hour from there, maybe 20 minutes. And I text her and said, listen, I had a great time. Looking forward to seeing you again. And at dinner, she had told me that her dog was going for surgery the next day. So I said to her, at the end of the night, I said, I hope your dog makes out okay. I'm an animal lover and I'm a dog lover. I've had dogs most of my life. And so the next morning, I say good morning to her. I had a great time last night. I reiterate, you seem like a nice lady. Looking forward to seeing more of you. And I hope your dog makes out again. Makes out okay. So somewhere around, this is about 9 o'clock in the morning. And somewhere around 3 o'clock, I get a text from her saying, I can't see you anymore. So I said, did I say something wrong? Did I do something wrong? Because you seemed to like me and you said I was a good guy. And she answers with, no, you're too concerned about my dog. Really, lady? What was really going on in your life? Because it wasn't the dog. Because most women, excuse me, would say that the guys, let me get a drink of water, um, compassionate because he likes my dog, So that's just one that I can't ever forget, And hold on a second. I got to take a drink of water. I'm choking here for whatever reason.
I think it's the bill, the 748 bill.
Yeah, it probably choked me up. Yeah.
It went up the wrong way.
Yeah, it went down the wrong pipe.
Yeah.
But anyway, so here's another one that I can never forget, and I don't actually remember the lady's name. I like that. But we met at a diner that we both. First of all, our shots online were from the waist up, and we met at a diner near my house, which she knew, and she wanted to meet. And she gets out of the car, and I see her, and she kind of blows up from the waist down, but nothing. But still, I give her a chance. I say, hey, just because she's a little bigger than I expected, doesn't mean she's not a bad person. And she tells me that she her husband died like 5 or 6 years ago, and I'm the first guy that she's ever met online. But before she met me, she was about 60 years old. She had to run it past her son, who's 35 years old, I believe, and is married with a child. But she had to make sure it was okay with him to meet me. Now, you're 60 years old, lady. You shouldn't have to check with anybody, number one. So I said to her, listen, I'm the first guy you met out here. I don't think you really know what's going on out here. And I don't think you're ready for this yet, but I'm going to tell you a little what's going on out here. I said, first of all, you only took pictures from the waist up, which is really not fair to a guy because he'd like to see a little more of you. And maybe he wouldn't want to go out with you because you're a bigger woman on the bottom, but some guys don't care. And I really don't care if you're a nice person. I really don't care. Okay. And second of all, you got to check with your 35-year-old son to let him know you could meet me. There's something wrong here because you shouldn't have to check with anybody. You're 60 years old. You can do what the hell you want. You're a grown woman. So I said, let me ask you a question. I said, I don't mean to be mean. I don't mean to be nasty. But most guys out here, after the fourth or fifth date, are going to want to go to bed with you. What are you going to do? I said, are you going to have to ask your son if it's okay? And she said, why are you being so nasty? I said, I'm not being nasty. I just want you to know what's going on out here. And if you don't know what you're going to do, come the fourth or fifth date, the guy's not going to stay around too long. Take my word for it, no matter how nice you are. And she said to me, so I guess you're not going to have dinner tonight with me. I said, no, I'm going to have dinner, but you're probably not going to see me again. And it's funny because about a year ago, she contacted me again. I guess she forgot. I was in and off a site, and I went on the site, and I said, oh, did you remember we went down this road once before? And it didn't work because you didn't know what you were doing. Another one, I met this lady online. She lived in the town I grew up in, and she was okay. She wasn't nothing special, but she was okay, and I figured I'd give her a chance. And I picked her up at her house. She said I could pick up her house. I think we went to eat dinner somewhere. I don't really remember the date, to be honest with you. But she said to me, you know, I really don't like that you're wearing jeans and a nice shirt. Why don't you dress a little nicer? And then the next words out of her mouth was, you have an Italian haircut. I don't know what Italian haircut means, but you don't even know me. Come on, what are you doing? I mean, you're talking about my clothes, and I don't dress like a slob. I like to wear jeans now, and I always have a nice shirt or a nice sweater with it. You know, it's not like they were holey or dirty. You know, they just jeans that I wear, dress jeans, and my haircut's the way it is. I don't know what an Italian haircut is, as opposed to a Jewish haircut or a Puerto Rican haircut. I don't know, but she apparently didn't like my hair and my clothes, so that didn't go anywhere real quick. You know, so those are some that you just can't forget. You know what I mean? And there's many, many more, but we'll save some of them for later on.
Well, you couldn't make a love connection there, that's for sure.
Well, with any of those, I couldn't make a love connection. You know. Oh, there's one more I can't forget. This is like one of the, well, there's a couple, but this one was pretty decent. I don't know. Oh, well, there's two really that I should talk about. I meet this lady online. She's a very pretty blonde girl, and we live about an hour apart. So we decide to meet halfway between the two of us. What happened, Steph? You got knocked off, Steph.
No, I'm giving you the whole screen.
Oh, okay. So we meet about halfway between her house and my house. She picks a place, and she gets lost going there, but she picked the place. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So she had told me that she had a house in Florida. So I'm waiting about a half hour. I'm not going to wait too much longer because half hour, that's enough. And so I see this nice Lexus pull up with Florida plates, and I assume it's her. And this nice blonde comes out, and she's really built real nice, very pretty girl. And we go have drinks, and she's telling me that she lost her husband like 4 or 5 years ago. She goes down to Florida every 3 or 4 months. And so we have dinner, and everything's fine. She says, you're a great guy. She said, you know, I'm going to Florida in a couple of weeks, and I really don't like to drive down by myself. So I said, tell you what, I'll drive down with you. We'll do what we got to do on the way down. You know, we're adults. She said, yeah, and I'll fly you back. Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me. So we agreed to that. And then again, I text her on the way home. You're nice looking, you're a nice lady, you're pretty, you're smart, you're sexy, whatever. And, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing more of you. And she says the same, oh, you're a nice guy. You treated me like, you know, like a queen. And, you know, you seem like a really good guy. And the next morning, I say good morning to her. I hope you have a great day. And she says, you know what? I don't think there was a love connection last night. Wait a minute. I was driving to Florida at 9 o'clock at night. And at 9 o'clock in the morning, you're telling me there's no love connection. What happened in between? Did you step on your boyfriend? Did you use me for a dinner and drinks? I don't know. Something was going on there. And now this one recently happened about a year ago. I was seeing a lady for about a month and a half, and it was about Valentine's Day last year. And she says she has a free room at Harrah's down in Atlantic City, and she wants to take me down there for a Valentine's Day. So I buy her a dozen roses. She buys me a little something. We get cards. And I stayed at her house a couple of weekends. before this. And we get to Harrah's and we spend overnight there and we gamble a little bit. We watch a show. We go to a show and we come home the next day and we kind of just hang out because we're kind of beat from Harrah's. And the next morning we wake up and I told her I was gonna take her to breakfast to this place that we both liked, not too far from our house. And she goes, no, we don't have to go. And the phone's ringing and it's on the dresser and we're in bed. And it's ringing and ringing and ringing for like 5 or 7 minutes. I'm saying, how come you're not answering it? And she tells me there's a robocall. There's probably a robocall. Well, it's a Sunday. Usually don't get robocalls on Sunday. But I just kind of stuck that in the back of my head. So we go to breakfast and we meet a guy that I haven't seen in about 25 years that she knew most of her life. And we start talking about the drug business and the wholesale drug business, which I used to be in. And anyway, so we get back to our house. And one of my friends at the time was in the hospital. And I wanted to go see him. She knew that. She goes, listen, I'm going to go take a nap. Why don't you go see your friend and we'll talk later on, you know. And she said she was going about 5 or 6 o'clock to a friend of hers house. Bunch of like 2 or 3 girls were going out to dinner. So I said, okay, no problem. So I left and I sent a text to her. Hey, I had a great time. Thank you for taking me to Atlantic City. I'm looking forward to seeing you more. You know, we've been going out for a month and a half. Everything's good. And I hear nothing. And I literally actually went around the corner from her house when I sent this text. And I get no response. And I have about a 45-minute ride home, maybe. Yeah, about 40 minutes ride home. And so 40 minutes goes by. I get no return text. I thought to myself, did she fall asleep as soon as I left or what? You know, like really? I basically out the door and I did this text. So anyway, I call her later on and there's no answer. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And so my antennas are going up. And now it's about 5 o'clock. And I figure she should be home by 7 because she didn't go that far. I know where she went. And so the place that she went, I had eaten there with her. And I call her about 7 o'clock. I get no answer. And I'm saying, oh, she's not home yet? What the hell's going on? But anyway, so I wait till about 9 o'clock and I call her again. And she answers the phone. She goes, hey, how you doing? I said, hey, are you okay? I haven't heard from you since 1 o'clock this afternoon. And I've been texting and calling you all freaking day. And I'm kind of concerned. And she says to me, you know, I have something to tell you. So I'm like, okay, Dad, tell me. So when we first dated in the beginning of January or maybe late December, no, I guess it was the middle of January, beginning of January, she told me that she had been Skyping with a guy in Chicago, but she didn't like the guy, and I can't cut him off because he's depressed and he lives with his mother and he's telling me his whole story and whatever. She said, well, I'm having surgery Thursday, minor surgery Thursday, and you said you were going to come over on a weekend and take care of me. I said, well, yeah, you're having surgery, and we've been going out for a month and a half, whatever. It's the right thing to do. She said, well, I have a problem with that. So I said, what's the problem? Well, remember the guy that I told you about in Chicago when we first met? I go, yeah. Well, I've been Skyping with him the whole time I've been with you. So I said, wait a minute, you've been sleeping with me and Skyping with him. What else have you been doing with him? And I said, was he the one that called this morning that you wouldn't answer the phone? She goes, no. Well, of course it was. I know it was. So I said, so what's the problem? Well, he wants to come take care of me. He wants to fly in, and you've never met him. You've been talking to him about 2-3 months. You haven't met him. And he wants to come in and take care of me. He wants to fly in Thursday morning to take care of me for the next couple of days. So I said, wait a minute. So you're sleeping with me, and you're Skyping with him, and you can't decide who you want to take care of you when you come out of the hospital. So she said, yeah. I said, so when are you going to make this decision? So she said, well, I'm going to make it the night before I go to the hospital. So I said, it sounds like you have a tough decision because you've been sleeping with me and Skyping with him, and who knows what else you've been doing with him on Skype. I don't know. No, we have never done anything on Skype. Well, I don't believe that, but whatever. So I don't sleep well Sunday night. And I wake up Monday morning and I decide I'm going to make this decision and I'm going to make it real easy. So I said, her name started with an L. I'm not going to say her name because if she listens to this, she'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And she won't be happy, but she knows it's the truth. So we'll leave her name out of it. It's just her name is L. Started with an L. That's all I'm going to say.
So she's one of the guilty we talked about in that
That's
disclaimer.
correct. She's one of the most guilty of one, actually. 60-year-old woman playing a game like this. So I send her a text. I said, listen, I'm going to make this decision for you. Very simple and very easy. I said, I don't know what game you're playing, but you're not playing it with me. Have this guy fly in from Chicago and take care of you because I want nothing to do with you. I've blocked you on Facebook. I've blocked you in my phone list. I blocked you possibly everywhere possible that I can. So leave me alone. Let the guy fly in from Chicago and take care of you. Well, P.S. I don't know what happened, but about 3 or 4 months later, she saw me on a dating site, and she tried to contact me, and I blocked her. I actually told the administrator of that the woman is a complete a-hole in plain English. I don't call too many people that. But what kind of game are you playing at 60 years old? You know, it's like you're a teenager, like you're 18 or 19 years old. You're going to play a game like that with somebody, you know? And I had told her in the beginning, I said, listen, I tell all the women I meet, and I don't bullshit this, that if you don't like what you see or you don't hear what you see, tell me. You know, I'm 6'2", my shoulders are pretty broad. Okay, a lot can roll off of these shoulders. Okay, I'm not going to get offended. I'm just going to move on. I'm not going to bury my head in the sand. Okay, I know there's somebody out there for me. I met this lady now. I've been with her 2 months. She may be the one because we get along really well. We don't fight. We don't argue. She knows what she's looking for, and she's not playing any games. So we'll see where it goes. But so far, so good. I like what I see and hear, and she likes what she sees and hears, and we get along pretty well so far. And we haven't had any problems. And we're not arguers. We're doers and helpers, and she's the same way, you know, helping people out. So that's just some of my stories, and I probably tell some of these people that are listening to this don't know I'm a Lyft driver. Before COVID, I haven't driven much since COVID. I don't want to take anybody in my car that I don't know. But I have some funny Lyft stories. I did about 3,000 rides over 3 years.
It's quite a bit.
Yeah. I actually got a jacket for them after 1,000 rides, but it took about 12 weeks to get. By that time, I almost had 2,000, but we won't go there. So one of the this is a story I could never forget, and it's just absurd, in my opinion. But what do I know? I pick up this pretty black woman in New Brunswick, New Jersey, if anybody knows where that is, and she's going to the New Brunswick has the college and the hospital part, and then there's a little seedy part a little farther away. Now, I grew up in the area, so it doesn't bother me. I've been in that area many, many times. And I was in the car business for about 25 years in different venues, advertising and outside sales and a bunch of other stuff. And she's talking about she wants to buy a car. So I said, listen, if you're going to buy new, if you're going to get a new car, you should lease it because your payments won't be bad. And if you're going to buy, you know, if you want a used car, then you should buy it. And with that, she says to me, I hope this doesn't offend you, but I've been leasing out my pussy for years. Where did this come from? We're talking about cars. We're talking about cars. Where the hell did this come from? So she gets out. I drop her off, and she gets out of the car, and I'm sitting there like dumbfounded, like what the hell? Where did this come from? Now she was a very pretty black woman who weighed about 320 pounds. So you probably had to roll her up and look for the wet spot, but whatever. But where did this come from? We're talking about cars. I mean, I was like shocked, just shocked, you know. And then I pick up this young girl in Plainfield. She's about 100 pounds. She's about 5'6", about 100 pounds, and she's talking on the phone to her boyfriend. And she says, you know, an older white gentleman picked me up from Lyft. I don't know about older, but I'm, you know, whatever. And then the next thing I hear from her is, you know, now she was only going a half a mile, really. So, and I tell you this for a reason, because the next part of it's going to be a little wacky. And so she's talking to him, and she says, you know, when we meet up later on, we're going to do the nasty, right? And I guess he must have said, yeah. And the next words out of her mouth were, but you don't like to go down on me. Now, you couldn't wait to get out of the car to tell him this. You couldn't say, hey, let me call you back in a couple of minutes. She was going to the post office, which was half a mile away. You couldn't say, like, hey, let me call you back when I got out of the car. But she didn't care that I was there, I guess, and just said what was on her mind, like,
No shame in her game.
no. And then this is another funny one I had. I used to drive an Explorer. I don't have an Explorer anymore, but I had an Explorer, a 2013, which is a pretty good size car or truck, whatever you want to call it. And I pick up this guy, and he's telling me he's a manager of a Zinn Burger, which is the natural organic burgers or whatever. And he's doing very well with them. And it's a share ride. And I pick up this young couple, about 24, 25 years old. I don't even know if they were that old. And they say to him, would you get in the front? I'm like, my back seat can sit like 4 people. I'm really, come on. Anyway, so he gets in the front, and I drop him off. And I say to the couple, by the way, where are you guys going? And they tell me they're going to New Brunswick Courthouse, that he's got a judgment against him from his ex-wife or his girlfriend about a child. And as I look back, I see that his hand is on her pussy through her pants, and her hand is through his package on his pants. And so whatever, you got to do that in my car, really? Okay. So I get to the New Brunswick Courthouse, and I drop him off on a side street, which is right alongside the courthouse, and he gets out and he has to adjust his underwear. So she was playing with him apparently in the car, and his underwear shifted apparently. And I just sat there like, are you kidding me? In my car, you're playing with this guy, and you're going to court for some kind of judgment about your child support. What? You can't make this up. You really can't.
No,
So
you really can't. That's a live story, yeah.
I mean, you can't really, Is there anything else? Let's see. Yeah, no. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, then I had an Indian guy who tried to scam me, actually. He gets in the car, and he says, I put in the wrong the address. Now, you can change your address to where you're going through Lyft. So I said, well, you got to call Lyft and change it. Because he was going about 7 or 8 miles past where he originally put in, which is more money, obviously, and the driver's going to get screwed out of it, obviously. So after driving for a little while, he goes, I can't do it. I tried to call them. I tried to contact them. I can't change the address, which I know was full of crap. So I said, listen, I'm not going to leave you on the highway. I'm going to take you to where you are, but they're going to charge you. He goes, no, they're not. I've done this before. So me thinking that this guy's done it before, I drop him off and I call up Lyft and I say, listen, the passenger put in one address. He claims he couldn't change the address, which I know he can. This $6 ride that he originally called for is now about $15 ride. And so I got gypped out of $9 and you got gypped out of money. And Lyft looks it up and says, this is the third time this guy tried to do this. He scammed the other 2 drivers, but apparently you were smart enough to realize that he was trying to scam us and you. So we sent him an email now that he is not allowed to drive with Lyft. We have him blocked on Lyft. He can never drive with Lyft again. So I was smart enough to do that, but I guess the other drivers didn't know, or they were new maybe. And so me being a little more seasoned driver, I wasn't taking that bullshit from this guy. So, I mean, what is wrong with these people? Why? I mean, you're saving money over a cab anyway. So why would you try to gyp Lyft out of money and the driver out of money? Doesn't make sense to me.
They're not playing with a full deck, my friend. They're not playing with a full
deck. They are
not.
No. So now I will tell you a few jokes that I don't know if you ever heard, but they're funny as hell.
The joke man has revived his joke-telling ability. Let's go. Let's go, joke man. What do you got, joke man? So
this is a good joke, and it's a funny joke. I don't know. I thought about it the other day. I don't know why. What did the blonde say to the gynecologist when he told her she was pregnant?
Is it mine?
That's exactly right. That's exactly what he said.
Ding, 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 ding,
ding, ding, ding. You get a prize for that off the first shelf. And then and now this one's a really good one. This is a good joke. I've told it many times, and I think it's funny as hell. Um, and this guy comes out of an office building, and he sees his friend on a bench crying his eyes out, and he's like, "What the hell's wrong with you? What are you crying your eyes out for? I've never seen you like this before." He said, I was messing around with a Chinese girl, not to pick on Chinese people, but that's the joke, okay? Don't be offended by this. It's just a joke. Anyway, and so he said, I got the Hong Kong flu. So his friend says, "What the hell's that?" He goes, "Well, I've been to 6 doctors. They told me they got to cut my penis off." And he goes, "What?" He goes, "Well, I'm crying because I can't, I'm 25 years old. I'm going to have my penis cut off. I'm going to be castrated. I can't deal with this." So his friend says, "Listen, you know what? I know this doctor. I guarantee he won't tell you that." So the guy says, "Quick, give me his number. I got to call him right away." So he gets on the phone. He calls the guy. He says, "Listen, doc, I got to come in. It's an emergency. I got to come in tonight." The doc said, "Listen, you don't understand. I'm booked up 6 months in advance." "No, doc, you understand. It's a matter of life and death. I got to come tonight." The doctor said, "Listen, I close at 6. I'm usually here till about 7 doing paperwork. Knock on the door around 6:30. I'll let you in, and we'll discuss your problem, and maybe I can help you out." So about 6:30 comes, and he knocks on the doctor's door, and the doctor opens up, and he says, "Listen, what is your problem here? Why did you have to see me tonight?" And he tells him a story that he was fooling out a Chinese girl, got the Hong Kong flu, and been to 6 doctors. They told him he's got to be castrated, and he can't deal with it. And the doctor says, "Listen, go in the examining room, take your clothes off. I'll be in a couple of minutes." So he does, and the doctor comes in, examines him, and the doctor says, "Listen, get dressed. I'm going to go sit at my desk." So the guy comes into the doctor's office after getting dressed. His shirt's half unbuttoned, his jeans aren't zipped up. He's trying to find out what this doctor's going to tell him. Says, "Hey, doc, you got to cut it off?" He goes, "No, leave it alone. In a few days it'll fall off." Funny book.
That is a very good joke.
And now this joke is borrowed from Buddy Hackett, and I give him credit for it. I just heard it the other day. I forgot all about it. I did hear it years ago. So this guy goes to a doctor, and he says, "Doctor, I've been talking like this my whole life, and I want to talk normal." So the doctor says, "Go in the exam room. Let me see if I can examine you." So he examines the guy. He says, "Your voice, I can do a transplant, but I noticed while I was doing the examination that you're very well endowed, more than most men. Your schlong comes down to almost your knees. It's incredible." So he says, "I can do a transplant where you could talk normal." So he does the transplant, and after about a month, the guy comes back. "Hey, doc, everything's great, man. I got this great voice, but I'd like to go back to the way I was." The doctor says, "I don't think I can do that." And that was borrowed from Buddy Hackett. I thought it was a very funny joke, man.
Classic Buddy Hackett.
Yes.
You can't go wrong with Buddy Hackett.
Buddy Hackett was a great storyteller. He knew how to tell a story, but some of his stories you have to visually see, but he was a great storyteller, and he knew how to tell stories. So I think that's about it for me for tonight.
Well, I want to thank you tonight for coming on with me and my co-host, and let's drum up a little business with this channel. People out there,
we're going to try and be on every Thursday night at 9:00. The BS show with Stef and the G-Man.
Right, and right now we're going to take it away with a little musical karaoke and an ending. So, Allan, my friend,
happy ending.
It's been wonderful tonight. A little preview to where we're going with this. So I will talk to you, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Have a happy ending. She's a long, long way.
go to a party, everyone turns to see this beautiful lady who's walking around with me.